Hey, what's up everyone? Lord MC here, back again with another video. I wanted to share my thoughts on where I think the markets might go this week. I do think it will be a very volatile opening into tomorrow before some choppiness coming into CPI this week, October the 13th on Thursday. But before I get into that, I want to preface by saying I am not a financial advisor. None of the things I ever say in my videos or anywhere else is ever financial advice. So take everything with a grain of salt and come out and do your own research. So having said that, let's get right into it. SPY here on the 1 day. Looking at Friday's close, it did close at negative 2.79% for the day. It closed at 362.79 on a very volatile Friday where a lot of the whole market was down. Tesla was down, AMD had a very bad day, and we were able to profit nicely on that run to the downside. So what are the next levels of support and resistances for the SPY? Clearly on the SPY, this bearish bad pattern has done its type 1 reaction, and it's continuing to fail and doesn't look like it wants to do a type 2 reaction where it wants to have some type of consolidation between target 1 and target 2. So RSI is still not oversold, so it has some further downside to go if it wants to get there. So I wanted to come over and switch to the 1 week because it did generate a bullish deep crab, and I want to emphasize saying this: just because a pattern is formed where it's bullish doesn't mean that it's gonna go up and the price action is gonna continue going up. There's a lot of things that you have to look for. One of those things that you have to know is that on a completion of a pattern, on a harmonic pattern, there's two types of reaction. Type 1 reaction would be at the completion of the last point. It would test target 1, and in the best case scenario, target 2. That would be a type 1 reaction. A type 2 reaction would be where it doesn't go directly to test target 1 and target 2. They would have some choppiness, come maybe trade between these ranges, XA and HOP, and then possibly do a type 1. And the same thing could be said about maybe having a type 2 first and then type 1. So on the 1 week, SPY did test this 200 SMA at 358. So that's something that we would definitely be watching out for as a level of support. So right now, I would be looking at levels of support coming into tomorrow at 358. Losing 358, I would watch out for 357. So if we lose 357, where would that next level of support be? So bear with me here. You guys are going to see a lot of lines right now because I did turn this off so you can see my drawings. But the next level of support would be here, somewhere in 350.72. There's a lot of touch points on the weekly where there is some level of resistance and support here. So if we lose 357, the next level of support that I would be looking at is this 350. Losing that, we would probably be coming down to the 340s, maybe possibly 330s. So jumping over back to the level of resistance, if we're trying to play this to the upside, and in order for us to even consider playing this to the upside, because this is clearly a bearish trend, we would need to see volume picking up and reversing. So the next level of resistance, if you're playing it to the upside, would be this 9 EMA at 370, getting above this horizontal line at 371, and then 374. If you can get above that, the next target would be 381 for some continuation. On the 1 day, is looking like it is forming a W. A W would be a bearish indicator because of the completion of point T. You would expect a reversal back to the downside. So we'll keep an eye on that. But I wanted to quickly share something on the 1 week that is kind of playing out. Let me just hide this real quick. I drew this ABCD pattern on the 1 week where it looks like it's actually coming down and testing that, right? So AB has to be the same equidistance to C to D, and D would be somewhere around 330, where we would expect a potential reversal at the completion of point D. That reversal, we would expect a 382 at 381, and then further down the line at possibly 412. So if this pattern is looking like it's playing out, we may find a bottom here at 330 unless it continues going much further. So we will be keeping an eye on that. Jumping over to the triple Qs. I won't go too much into detail with the triple Qs because it looks exactly the same to the SPY. We are trading in this channel, so levels of resist support that we would be looking for if the market continues down is this channel that has been trading. So I'd be looking at possibly 358, 360. Losing that would be very concerning because we would probably start coming down to test this descending broadening wedge. So next level of resistance, if you're trying to play this to the upside, we want to get above 376 for us to be any bullish in the Nasdaq. So levels of support will be 376, excuse me, resistance 376, then 379, and then getting above 290 would be our levels of resistance. Jumping over to the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones on Friday closed negative 2% for the day, closed at 292.97. It did have these two gaps right here, like a U-turn. So the next level of resistance I have here for the Dow Jones would be the XA at 290.33. We also have this gap down we have yet to fill. We got in that gap on Friday the 30th, but we never completed and fully closed this gap. So next level of resistance would be 290 and then possibly 284. For any type of bullish case scenario on this bullish butterfly pattern, you would want the Dow Jones to go above, test the 90 EMA at 297, get in this gap up here between 297 and 300, and then finally at 302 for the most bullish case. So we will see if this right now is doing this type 2 reaction. It's looking like it is. It did this kind of a U-turn, I believe. Having a gap like this, gap up here and then gap up down, is called an island. So to me, it's looking like it has a potential type 2 reaction where it's going to first go to 290 and then hop at 284. We still have some room on HSI as well as, RSI, HSI, and AMP RSI. So we will be keeping an eye close on the Dow Jones. Jumping over to Apple. Apple on the 1 day gap down on Thursday, and it's looking like now it wants to go to that target 2 at 134.41. It has a type 1 reaction that has been doing this at the completion of point C of this bearish shark pattern. This is a perfect picture perfect type 1 reaction where it just at the completion of point C it goes down and tests levels. So it tested target 1 and now wants to test target 2. So the next level of support on Apple would be 134. Losing 134, we could possibly start looking in the 120s at 121. So for the bullish case scenario, you would want Apple to come and test back up at 142 and then possibly fill this gap between 142 and 145 and then 148 and then back at 150, which is a 21 EMA on the 1 day. So Apple does have all these death crosses that on the EMAs on the 1 day that are formed here, as well as the SMAs. So we will keep keeping an eye on Apple for that because it is a market mover. Jumping over to Microsoft, I have drawn this horizontal line here on Microsoft at 230, which would be where I think this is. Yeah, there's a lot of level of support here. So if it loses that, the next level of support would probably be. Give me 1 second. Jumping over here to the 1 week, give us a better indication. So yeah, it's very concerning if Microsoft loses 230.65. The next level of support would be 222 at the 200 EMA, and then the $213 range at the 200 SMA. So we will see where Microsoft opens up on Monday, but on most of the macro, it's not looking good for Microsoft. It still has some room to approach COVID levels. Here would be around 190. It's not that far off. So Microsoft on the 1 day is below the target 2 here. This is another type 1 reaction. So let's see if we get another. So this is exactly the ABCD pattern here, where it did a type 1 reaction. Now it's doing its type 2, where it has a level here at hop at 231.99, call it 232. After that, losing this, like I said, we can potentially see in the 220s for Microsoft. Jumping over to Tesla. Let's switch to the 1 day real quick. So Tesla did finally finish this butterfly, this bearish butterfly, where it did test target 2 at 362.23. I did draw this horizontal line here at 223.07, where is a key level for me, where if Tesla continues to further go down 223, we could potentially see 190, 180 on Tesla. Jumping over on the weekly, it has this giant bat pattern here, where it did get its type 1 reaction. Now it's looking like it wants to do its type 2 reaction, and look where it closed at this line that I said that I drew out at 223.07. It closed just a few 62 cents short. So XA would be at 208, so that's a target that I'll be watching, is 208.79, and then hop at 149.59 down the road. So if you're looking at the bullish case scenario for Tesla, you would want to be closing above 235, and then the 9 EMA at 251. So it still has a lot for it to go. The volume has just been increasing on Tesla. It's very volatile. It is oversold, so we may have some type of bounce here in the market on Monday, because this is a market mover as well. One other ticker I want to cover is PayPal. We had a lot of news that came out on PayPal, with them trying to charge $2,500 for misinformation. They quickly took that away from their policy, but now who knows how the market's going to react with that. On the 1 day, it has a bearish shark pattern, where this is doing its type 2 reaction. Type 2 reaction testing between HOB, OB, and terminal. So it did close negative 4.5% for the day. Volume is slowly increasing. So the next level of support that I would have for PayPal would be $87 at terminal. And then below that, it would probably go to target 1 at $77, and then target 2 at $69. So we will see how that opens up as well. So if you're playing PayPal to the upside, you're looking at 92.15 for resistance, and then 95.23. So that's all I have for you guys. I will be streaming tomorrow early in the morning at 6:15 Pacific Standard Time in the AM. So if you want to follow me on Twitch, on my description, all the links are in the description box below. So if you like this type of content, please consider giving me a like and subscribing to the channel. It does really help me out. So having said that, let's get ready for a volatile week tomorrow, and good luck, guys.